The 10th knowledge area is project stakeholder management. Let's discuss about it. I'm sure you remember our earlier discussion about project stakeholders. Just a quick recall. Stakeholders could be a person or a group or an organization which could be directly or indirectly, positively or negatively affected by the outcome of the project. The stakeholders may be internal or external to the organization. Not every stakeholder has equal importance in a project. According to the stakeholders' interest and influence, stakeholders are categorized into four types. They are kitten, puppies, alligators, and tigers. Sorry, primary, secondary, and tertiary. Alright, now it's time to think about this knowledge area stakeholder management. I'm sure you would have guessed the answer already. Stakeholder management is all about identifying stakeholders, managing them effectively for the benefit of the project. Project stakeholder management includes the process required to identify the people, group, or organization that could impact or be impacted by the project, analyze those stakeholders' expectations and their impact on the project, develop appropriate stakeholder strategies for effectively engaging stakeholder in project decision and execution. A project manager is more like a movie director. His job is to coordinate with the individual talents to get the work done to deliver a great movie. One another popular example about project manager, he is a music orchestra conductor. The conductor does not play any instrument, but he coordinates and guides musicians for a great performance. The project manager has to facilitate, motivate, coordinate, and integrate all of those project activities to deliver a successful outcome. Once you are assigned as a project manager, you need to identify all the stakeholders, analyze their power, interest, and level of engagement, elicit their requirements and expectations for product, project management, quality, communication, etc. And then evaluate and incorporate all that information into the product and project scope as needed. Engaging stakeholders should take place throughout the life of the project. This means you need to build and maintain positive relationship with stakeholders and make sure they continue to be involved in the project at the level necessary to make it a success. Let's talk about defining project requirements. A question to you. What is expectation? In project stakeholder requirements context, it is a mental picture about the future. These expectations includes stakeholders thinking on what will happen to the department and the company as a whole as a result of the project. Expectations can be ambitious or underdefined or undefined or even ambiguous. They may be hidden intentionally or unintentionally. Once captured, expectations are analyzed. They may get converted into requirements and become part of the project. A difference between what a stakeholder thinks will happen and what actually happens might cause conflicts, rework, and changes. Determining stakeholder interest, influence, and authority is one of the key roles of a project manager. It's important to determine the level of interest of each stakeholder has in the project. Depends on the current level of interest and the expected level of interest, a strategy can be jotted to bridge the gap. This will also help to structure the work, roles, and responsibilities to maximize the engagement. Each stakeholder will be able to positively or negatively affect a project depending on their level of influence, and it should be identified and managed. Each stakeholder's level of authority will impact their effect on the work and outcome of the project. It's important to engage the stakeholders as early as possible in the project. Involving stakeholders doesn't end at initiating or planning. You need to work with them and manage their expectations and relationship throughout the life of the project. Communicate with stakeholders. Stakeholders are included in project presentation and ensure that they receive project information, including progress reports, updates, changes to project management plan, and changes to the project documents. You, as a project manager, need to monitor stakeholders' communication and engagement. Good relationship and communication with stakeholder is critical for the project success. So, you must ensure that it happens properly in the project. In case if it doesn't, then find out why and you need to fix it. It's the project manager's responsibility to ensure that the project stakeholders involved throughout the project. As mentioned earlier, stakeholder management is one of the key for project success. The process of identifying and engaging stakeholders is an iterative process and done throughout the project, even though it's described only once. In fact, stakeholder identification, prioritization, and engagement should be done throughout the project, such as the project moves from one phase to the next phase, change in stakeholders or in their roles and responsibilities, and significant change in organization that affects the current stakeholder community. Very quickly, let's look at the emerging practices and trends. The definition of a stakeholder are getting broader, includes groups such as regulators, lobby groups, environmentalists, financial organizations, the media, and those who simply believe they are stakeholders. Alright, that wraps up the super quick overview. Let's move to the process.